The Whisper of Moonlight. Once upon a time, far above the earth, there was a small and peaceful village nestled among the clouds. This magical village, bathed only in the glow of moonlight, was home to gentle and quiet beings known as star-gatherers. Every night, they would collect the stars scattered across the sky and weave them into intricate patterns. These celestial designs told the story of their village, written in the language of the stars. Among the star-gatherers was Lila, the youngest and most curious of them all. One evening, as she ventured out to collect stars, her eyes caught sight of one that looked different from the rest. It flickered faintly as if trying to speak. Intrigued, Lila carefully cradled the star in her hands and listened to its soft whisper. "Once, I was sent to the sky as the wish of a child," the star murmured. "But the child has forgotten their wish, and now I am stuck here incomplete." Lila's heart ached for the star. She decided she would help it fulfill its purpose. "I will take you back to the child who wished upon you," she said gently. With the star nestled in her hands, she set out, gliding across the clouds. The wind, her faithful guide, steered her toward the earth. When Lila reached the ground, she sang a magical lullaby. This melody, imbued with starlight, awakened the forgotten wish in the child's heart. Before long, the child's voice rose softly in the night. "I wish to always be happy and at peace with the ones I love." As the star felt the wish rekindle, it began to glow brightly. Its light, warm and vibrant, filled the air with a comforting radiance. Before it ascended back into the sky, the star thanked Lila. The child's wish lingered on the earth, spreading a quiet joy to all who felt its warmth. When Lila returned to her village that night, she noticed something unusual. The other star-gatherers were looking at her with admiration. They whispered about her bravery and kindness, filling her with pride, but also with curiosity. Could there be other stars carrying forgotten wishes, she wondered. The question stirred something deep within her. The next night, with her star-gathering basket in hand, Lila set out for the furthest reaches of the sky. She ventured to places where moonlight barely reached, where stars shimmered faintly and seemed to whisper their loneliness. There she found stars larger than any she had seen before, their lights fading with time. One of these stars spoke to her. Its voice was faint yet steady. "I carry the wish of an old woman," it said. "Long ago I dreamed of completing a melody, but I never could. I wished for the wind to carry it back to me, but the melody never came, and I remain unfinished." Determined to help, Lila sought a way to fulfill the woman's wish. Guided by moonlight, she learned of a place called the ancient Melody Forest, a timeless land where the winds were said to hum forgotten songs. To reach it, Lila had to cross rivers of clouds and pass over tranquil, starlit lakes. As she journeyed, a gentle breeze began to hum a melody. It sounded like a fragment of the song the star carried. Each note seemed to brighten the star's fading light, and Lila's resolve grew stronger. She followed the melody step by step until she reached the forest. The ancient Melody Forest was more enchanting than she could have ever imagined. The trees swayed to the rhythm of the wind, their branches singing forgotten songs. Lila held the star high, letting it merge with the music of the forest. Together, they created a melody so beautiful, it rose to the heavens. Beautiful it rose to the heavens. Far away, the old woman heard her wish come to life. Tears of joy filled her eyes as the melody she had longed for finally reached her. The star, glowing with renewed purpose, shimmered in gratitude before returning to the sky. When Lila returned to her village, she realized that this journey had not only been about helping the stars, but also about discovering her own courage. She was no longer just a star-gatherer. She had become a guardian of forgotten wishes. Each night, as she gazed at the endless sky, she wondered what other stories the stars might be waiting to share. Lila gently lifted the star with her hands, releasing it into the air. The star merged with the magical melodies of the ancient Melody Forest. The wind carried those enchanting tunes, lifting the forgotten wish of an old woman into the heavens. The star glowed brightly, reflecting the woman's heartfelt smile, and came back to life. As Lila watched its dazzling light, she realized that she had not only fulfilled a wish, but had also discovered a newfound courage within herself. Leaving the forest, Lila felt something shift inside her. Collecting stars was no longer enough. Finding forgotten wishes and bringing them to life had become her purpose. When she returned to the Sky Village, she eagerly shared her new mission with the other star gatherers. However, not everyone welcomed her enthusiasm. Chasing forgotten wishes is dangerous, warned an elder star gatherer. Some wishes are so old and powerful that releasing them could disrupt the balance of the sky. Lila respectfully listened, but her resolve remained firm. She believed that no star's light was random, that each carried a spark of hope. Even the oldest and most powerful wishes, she felt, held a kernel of goodness. That night, Lila decided to embark on her boldest journey yet. At the farthest edges of the sky, there was a place where even the stars struggled to shine, the Circle of Nothingness. Legend spoke of it as a realm where time slowed and forgotten wishes gathered in silence. Lila was determined to uncover the truth. As she glided through the clouds, she noticed a faintly flickering star emitting a dim, purplish light. She carefully took the star in her hands, and it whispered an ancient tale. Long ago, a king sought to uncover the secrets of the stars. He whispered his wish to them, "I want to possess the power of the sky." But his wish was never fulfilled, and now I am trapped here. This wish was unlike anything Lila had encountered before. It was powerful, complex, and heavy with longing. Yet amidst the weight of it, there was a fragile thread of hope. The king's wish began with pride, the star explained, but over time it changed. In the end, he only wished for peace for his people. Determined to restore the stars, light and complete the wish, Lila set out to find the remnants of the king's kingdom. Hidden below the clouds in a secret valley lay the ruins of the ancient realm. For Lila, this meant leaving the safety of her village and stepping into the unknown of the earth below. No star-gatherer had ever descended to the earth before, but Lila, fueled by courage, followed the star's faint guidance through the clouds. She soon arrived at a mist-shrouded, silent valley where the ruins of a once great kingdom lay scattered. The ancient stone walls seemed to hum faintly as, though the king's unfulfilled wish still lingered within them. Lila carefully climbed the tallest tower of the castle ruins, carrying the star with her. At the very top, she placed the star in the spot where the king had first whispered his wish. For a moment, everything was still. Then suddenly, the star burst into radiant light, and the wish rose into the sky as a beam of brilliance. A soft melody carried by the wind echoed through the valley, a song of peace and fulfillment. At last, the king's wish had been set free. When Lila returned to the Sky Village, the other gatherers marveled at her bravery. They spoke of her daring journey and how she had brought light to an ancient, forgotten wish. But for Lila, this was only the beginning. She wondered how many more stories were waiting to be discovered among the stars. From that night on, Lila was no longer just a star-gatherer. She had become the guardian of forgotten wishes, the protector of the light and hope that filled the skies. When Lila returned to the Sky Village, the entire community greeted her with cheers and admiration. She was no longer just a star-gatherer. She had become the guardian of forgotten wishes. People marveled at her bravery and retold her story to one another. From that day forward, the stars seemed brighter, the sky more hopeful. Yet, as Lila wandered among the stars each night, she often found herself wondering about the forgotten wishes still waiting to be discovered. But her new title came with even greater responsibility. One night, something extraordinary captured the entire village's attention. One of the brightest stars in the sky, the eternal star, began to dim. This star was unlike any other. It was one of the most ancient and revered stars in the Sky Village's legends. According to those tales, the eternal star gathered the hopes born from human hearts and transformed them into other stars. But as its light faded, the wishes no longer reached the sky. The nights grew darker and the stars weaker. The star-gatherers in the village were in disarray. The wise elder of the village gathered them and spoke in a calm but serious tone. "Lila, you are the only one who can restore the light of the eternal star," the elder said. "But this task will not be easy. To revive its light, you must journey to its source, the Circle of Light." The Circle of Light was said to be one of the most mysterious and unreachable places in the sky. To get there, one would need to cross treacherous paths no star-gatherer had ever dared to tread. The Elder warned Lila that to reach the circle, she would need to find the purest hope within herself. Without hesitation, Lila prepared for her journey and set off. Her first challenge was to pass through the silent storms, a region where the winds carried echoes of past wishes. Each whisper reminded Lila of the memories she had gathered, reigniting the hope within her. After the silent storms, she arrived at a place known as the Lost Paths, where the star trails moved constantly. Finding her way required her to trust only the guidance of her heart. With unwavering determination, Lila followed the star's faint light until she finally reached the Circle of Light. The circle was made up of intertwined rings of light and shadow. Yet, because the eternal star's light had faded, the circle's glow was faint and weak. Lila took slow, deliberate steps toward the center of the circle. Suddenly, everything fell silent, and she heard a familiar, fragile voice. "My light is fading," said the eternal star. "The hopes of humanity have been replaced by fear. To restore my light, I need a pure and unbroken hope, Lila." These words sank deep into Lila's heart. She closed her eyes and turned inward. She thought of the night she had collected her very first star, the moment she had fulfilled forgotten wishes, and the light she had brought back to the sky. Those moments had not only spread hope to others, but had also strengthened her own inner light. In that moment, Lila felt the quiet but powerful strength of the small hopes humanity still carried. Opening her eyes, she lifted her hands to the sky. She focused on the purest emotion in her heart and made a wish. May the sky always bring hope and peace to humanity. The wish rippled through the circle, sending waves of light across its rings. One by one, the rings began to glow again. The eternal star reignited, shining brighter than ever before, and the darkness that had gripped the sky slowly dissolved. Its brilliance illuminated not only the heavens, but also the hearts of those who looked up at it. When Lila returned to the Sky Village, the people celebrated her courage and the purity of her heart. Yet for Lila, this felt like just the beginning. She was no longer merely a star-gatherer, she was now the guardian of humanity's hopes. With her light to guide them, the stars and the sky promised a brighter future for all. When Lila voiced her heartfelt wish, her pure hope rippled through the rings of the light circle. It felt as though the heavens themselves were listening. Suddenly, the circle filled with a radiant glow, and the eternal star shimmered as it regained its former brilliance. Its light spread to every corner of the sky, and Lila found herself enveloped in a magical song of the stars. It was a melody that celebrated the boundlessness of the heavens and the enduring hope of humanity. The eternal star, now shining brightly, once more spoke to Lila. "Your pure hope has breathed new life into the sky," it said gratefully. "This marks the beginning of a new era for the star-gatherers. Wishes will once again reach the heavens, and the stars will continue to whisper that hope is eternal." When Lila returned to her village, she was greeted like a hero. But Lila didn't feel like one. "I only did what needed to be done," she thought. Yet deep inside, she felt a quiet strength. From that day forward, she wandered among the stars with renewed courage, knowing that hope would always endure. As the eternal star's light illuminated the sky once more, everything in the village seemed to settle back into place. The sky grew brighter, and people felt more at peace. Yet Lila couldn't shake an unexplainable unease that lingered within her. The stars' parting words echoed in her mind. The light of the stars grows not only from hope, but from wisdom as well. Yet this wisdom remains undiscovered. Without it, the future of the stars will never be secure. These cryptic words ignited a deep curiosity within Lila. The sky was as full of stars as always, but now she felt that each one held a secret waiting to be uncovered. Determined to find the path to this wisdom, Lila visited the oldest and wisest star-gatherer in the village, Oren. After listening intently, Oren paused in thought before finally speaking. "To understand the light of the stars, you must travel to where they first began to shine. That place is the Well of Origins. But be cautious, Lila. The Well of Origins is where the heavens and earth meet, a place where even time itself stands still. Only someone with a heart filled with pure light can pass through. These words marked the start of a new journey for Lila. After days of preparation, she gathered her courage and her guiding stars, placing them carefully into a woven basket before setting off. This journey would take her to the most mysterious and shadowed part of the sky, the endless gloom. It was a place where no light could reach, shrouded in a darkness so profound that even the stars ceased to shine. As Lila glided through the clouds, the air grew colder and the silence deepened. It was so quiet that she could hear nothing but the sound of her own breath. Then, just as she began to feel truly alone, one of the stars in her basket began to flicker faintly. Realizing it was trying to guide her, she lifted the star into her hand and held it close to her ear. The star spoke in a weak yet courageous voice. "Fear not, for only courage can shine in this place." These words filled Lila with newfound strength. With every step she took, her courage pushed the darkness further away. Deep within the endless gloom, she discovered a circle of faint light etched into the ground. Around the circle were ancient symbols, each representing a wish made long ago. Gently, Lila placed the star in her hand at the center of the circle. As soon as the star touched the ground, the symbols began to glow, and a beam of light rose around Lila, spiraling upwards. This was the sign she had been waiting for. The path to the Well of Origins had revealed itself. Lila's heartfelt wish resonated through the light circle. She felt a sudden shift, as though she had been transported to another dimension. Around her, the world transformed into an endless ocean of shimmering stars, their light rippling like waves. Among them, one stood out, a star that gleamed with a pure white light, pulsing gently as if it were alive. This was Orion, the first star to ever grace the heavens. Orion drifted toward Lila, its light surrounding her like a warm embrace. Its voice, both ancient and soothing, echoed in her mind. "Every star in the sky," Orion began, "is a reflection of the hope that emerges from a human heart. But this light can only shine when there is balance between the earth and the heavens. That balance is breaking, Lila. People's hopes are being clouded by fear and despair." Lila felt a heaviness settle over her heart. The weight of Orion's words pressed against her courage. "How can I restore this balance?" she asked softly, determination tinged with uncertainty. Orion explained that at the heart of the stars lay a seed of light, a source of their first illumination and boundless hope. But the seed had grown dim over time, diminished by the creeping shadows of humanity's fears. To reignite it, Lila would have to confront her darkest fears, a task that required extraordinary bravery. Descending deeper into the Well of Origins, Lila came across a still, reflective pool that shimmered like a mirror. She knelt beside it, gazing into its depths, and saw her fears come to life. The pool showed her the sky growing darker, stars winking out one by one until only an empty void remained. She saw herself alone, unable to save the stars, unable to fulfill her purpose. The fear of failure overwhelmed her, threatening to drown her resolve. But then, a quiet voice within her whispered, "To find hope, you must first embrace your fears." Summoning all her strength, Lila reached out and touched the dark image in the pool. Her fingers trembled as they brushed the cold surface, but she didn't pull back. "I will face my fears," she whispered, her voice steady, "because only by accepting them can I make hope stronger." The moment the words left her lips, the pool began to glow, its darkness giving way to radiant light. As the glow enveloped her, Lila felt something warm and alive settle in her palm, a small, shimmering seed. This was the seed of light, the source of all stars' beginnings, just as Orion had described. With the seed cradled in her hands, Lila ascended back to the sky. The stars seemed to hold their breath as she approached the eternal star. Standing before it, Lila gently placed the seed within the heart of its fading light. Instantly, the star burst into brilliance, its radiance spreading across the sky like a tidal wave of hope. Every star twinkled brighter than ever before, and the once muted fears in people's hearts began to fade, replaced by a soothing sense of peace. From that day forward, Lila was no longer just a gatherer of stars. She became known as the guardian of the sky, the protector of balance and hope. Each night she roamed among the stars, listening to their whispers and seeking out new sources of light. When the eternal star's glow returned, harmony between humanity and the stars seemed restored. Lila's courage and compassion became the stuff of legends, her deeds retold in the village as tales of inspiration. Yet, despite the brightness of the heavens, Lila felt an unease lingering deep within her. Though the stars gleamed once more, it was as if the sky itself harbored a hidden sorrow. One fateful night, while gazing into the vast expanse above, Lila noticed something unusual, a crack running through the fabric of the sky. It was a dark void, devoid of any starlight, and it seemed to stretch into an unfathomable abyss. This was no ordinary blemish. It was a gateway of sorts, an opening into something far beyond the known heavens. The villagers called it the realm beyond the final light. Legends spoke of this place as a realm where the boundaries of the sky dissolved, where both hope and shadow were born. Standing beneath its ominous presence, Lila realized her journey was far from over. Whatever lay beyond that rift was calling to her, and she knew without a doubt that her courage would once again be tested in unimaginable ways. Lila took a deep breath and approached the crack with a mix of determination and unease. Each step felt heavier, as though the air itself resisted her. When she reached the edge, the stars around her seemed dimmer, their glow muted, like they were holding their collective breath. Oren, the oldest and wisest of the star-gatherers, stood silently. By her side, his presence steady and reassuring. "This is no ordinary fracture," Oren began, his voice low and steady. "It's a warning. The sky's boundaries are being tested, stretched beyond their limits. If you choose to step through, you'll face more than just the unknown. You'll face yourself." Lila stared at the jagged void, its edges pulsing faintly with an otherworldly light. Her heart pounded, but a quiet voice within rose above the noise. "This is what I'm meant to do." Without hesitation, she stepped forward and crossed into the unknown. The world on the other side felt utterly alien. The sky was pale, almost lifeless, and the stars flickered weakly as though on the verge of extinguishing. Everything was shrouded in a profound, oppressive darkness. At the heart of this desolate expanse, a figure emerged, a tall, radiant being whose light was faint but undeniably present. "I am Luminor," the figure said, its voice a blend of strength and sorrow. "I was once the guardian of the skies, first light, but time has forgotten me. You think you've saved the stars, but the root of the problem lies deeper. The hope in human hearts is finite, constrained by fear. Unless those boundaries are shattered, the stars will remain vulnerable." Lila felt her resolve waver, a flicker of uncertainty stirring within her. "How can I break those boundaries?" she asked, her voice steady despite the growing weight of the moment. Luminor's gaze drifted toward the vast expanse beyond the stars. "You must do more than understand their wishes," Luminor explained. "You must understand their fears. Hope cannot exist without fear. It's incomplete without the struggles that shape it." With a wave of his hand, Luminor opened a shimmering portal that revealed scenes from the earth below. Lila peered through, her heart heavy, as she saw not only the wishes people sent to the stars, but also the silent fears they carried. A young boy wished for happiness, but was plagued by the fear of being alone. An elderly man prayed for health while dreading the loss of his loved ones. Lila had always thought the stars drew strength from hope alone, but now she saw that fear too had its place. It gave depth and meaning to hope's light. From within his radiant cloak, Luminor produced a crystal and held it out to Lila. "This is the mirror of hope and fear," he said. "With it you can help humanity find balance. When their hearts are in harmony, the stars will shine brighter than ever before." Taking the crystal, Lila felt its warmth seep into her fingers. She returned to the celestial village, her absence having stretched longer than expected. The villagers welcomed her back with joy, but she felt a quiet shift within herself. She was no longer the same person who had left. Her mission had evolved, and the crystal became a tool to teach others, both the villagers and the stars themselves, that true light came not just from dreams, but from embracing fears and vulnerabilities. One peaceful evening, as Lila roamed among the stars, she noticed something remarkable. The once menacing crack in the sky was healing. Its sharp edges softened, and the darkness within slowly dissipated. The stars shone brighter, their light infused with the raw, unfiltered truth of humanity's hearts. For the first time, people on Earth began casting not just their hopes, but also their fears into the sky. The connection between humanity and the heavens deepened, becoming more authentic than ever. From that moment on, Lila's role transformed. She was no longer just a star-gatherer. She became the guardian of light and shadow, the keeper of the delicate balance between hope and fear. Her story became a cherished legend in the celestial village, inspiring others with its lessons of courage and compassion. Still, even as the crack vanished, no one could say with certainty that it would never return. But Lila didn't dwell on that uncertainty. She welcomed the unknown, confident that as long as the stars whispered their songs, she would always be there to listen, ready for the next adventure. The celestial village thrived like never before after Lila's return as the guardian of light and shadow. The stars glowed brighter, wishes carried purer hopes, and the people were filled with renewed optimism. Yet, despite the harmony around her, Lila carried a quiet unease within. The crack in the sky seemed to have closed, but from one corner of the heavens, a strange darkness continued to spread, growing more noticeable with each passing day. One night, as Lila wandered among the stars, she felt a faint tremor ripple through the sky. The stars flickered momentarily, and the winds grew still. The sky itself seemed to whisper a warning, as if something imminent and unrelenting was approaching. At that moment, a beam of light shot forth from the eternal star and gently reached Lila. Within the beam, a haunting message echoed. The sky is only the beginning. The true secret lies beyond the stars. Darkness is returning, and this time, the sky alone will not suffice. The words echoed relentlessly in Lila's mind, urging her to seek their meaning. She went straight to Oren, the wise elder of the celestial village, hoping for answers. Oren listened intently to the message and let out a heavy sigh, his eyes filled with the weight of a revelation. This kind of message, Oren began, points to a much greater secret about the origin of the stars. According to an ancient legend, the light of the stars emanates from a place called the Infinite Passage. It is a gateway that connects the sky to the realm of the first light, but that realm has been forgotten for centuries. Lila leaned closer, her unease deepening. Could the passage have opened? She asked. Oren nodded gravely. If it has, then the very source of the stars is in jeopardy. But reaching the passage will not be easy, Lila. It only reveals itself to those who can unite their deepest fears and purest hopes. Determined, Lila set out on a journey to find the infinite passage. She reached the region of the sky where the crack had begun to spread. Everything there was eerily still, the air heavy with tension. Even the usual hum of the stars had disappeared, leaving behind an unsettling silence. In this quiet void, something unseen seemed to linger, waiting. Suddenly, the sky darkened, and a figure appeared before Lila. It moved with a familiarity that made her pause, and when it stepped into the faint light, she froze. The figure was a reflection of herself, an identical twin in form, but cloaked in shadow. It was as if her fears had taken shape and stood before her. "So, you think you've saved the sky?" The shadowy figure sneered, its voice laced with mockery. "What happens when you fail? When the stars dim once again? Don't you know that the fears in people's hearts will consume you too?" Lila faltered for a moment. Every word struck, a chord deep within her, feeding doubts she hadn't known she carried. But then from within a stronger voice rose, a voice fueled by hope and determination. She took a steadying breath and met her dark reflection's gaze with unwavering resolve. "I cannot exist without my fears," she said firmly, "but they cannot control me. They shape me, yes, but they do not define my path." At her words, the shadow began to dissolve, fading into nothingness. In its place, a radiant portal appeared, shimmering with a light that called to her. It was the infinite passage. Stepping through, Lila found herself in a realm unlike any she had ever seen. It was a place of both brilliance and shadow, where light and darkness danced together in intricate harmony. The beauty of this world far surpassed anything in the sky above, yet at its heart lay a deep fissure. From within the crack, tendrils of darkness seeped out, spreading across the realm like an unstoppable tide. At the edge of the crack stood a tall figure cloaked in shadow, its deep eyes and enigmatic presence captivating Lila. "I am Umbra," the figure said, its voice resonating like a distant echo. "I am the reflection of the star's darker side. Once I was the keeper of the first light, but humanity craves only the light and rejects the darkness, disrupting the balance. If this imbalance continues, neither light nor shadow will survive." Umbra's words pulled Lila into deep thought. Was it true that light and shadow needed each other? Was she the guardian of light and shadow, the one meant to restore this balance? Gathering her courage, Lila stepped closer and met Umbra's gaze. "Tell me what I must do," she said with unwavering determination. "I will do whatever it takes to save both the light and the shadow." Lila listened carefully to Umbra's words, realizing their profound truth. Fear and hope weren't opposing forces. They were intertwined, strengthening one another. Accepting this, she retrieved the mirror of hope and fear she had brought with her. Gently, she placed the mirror before the crack. Its surface shimmered, reflecting a perfect balance of light and shadow. For a moment, it seemed as though everything was healing. The crack began to narrow, and the encroaching darkness retreated. But then, without warning, the fissure expanded once more. Umbra's voice resonated deeper this time, echoing across the realm. "The only way to restore balance," Umbra said, "is to dedicate yourself entirely to both light and shadow. Only then can harmony be achieved between the sky and the earth." The weight of Umbra's words settled over Lila like a heavy mantle. In that moment, she understood that healing the crack required more than action. It required her to heal her own heart. She closed her eyes and reached deep within herself, touching her fears and hopes alike. Memories of her past surfaced, her successes, her failures, and the moments of doubt that had driven her forward. She saw her fears not as obstacles, but as sparks that had propelled her on this journey. With her courage swelling, she whispered one final vow: "I forge an eternal balance between the sky and the earth." Her words rippled outward, filling the crack with a harmonious blend of light and shadow. Slowly the fissure began to close, and the celestial realm returned to its serene, radiant state. The realm of the first light was once again whole and peaceful. As Umbra's figure faded, his parting words lingered in the air. "You are now the true guardian of light and shadow." When Lila returned to the celestial village, everything seemed transformed. The stars shone brighter than ever, their light infused with newfound meaning. Wishes sent to the heavens carried a deeper resonance, as people had begun to embrace their fears as well as their hopes. This acceptance had made them stronger, more resilient. Lila continued to listen to the whispers of the stars. To her, the sky was an endless story waiting to be told, but she was no longer just a protector. She was now a living embodiment of the balance between light and shadow. The stars, in their eternal brilliance, sang songs of her courage. As time passed, Lila sought a quieter life within the village. But one fateful night, a radiant beam of light emerged from the eternal star, brighter and more vivid than any she had seen before. The light carried a clear and urgent message. The sky and the earth are once again united, but this has opened a new door. Darkness is no longer confined to the heavens. It grows stronger on the earth as well. The message troubled Lila deeply. Seeking answers, she turned to Oren, the wise elder of the village. Oren listened intently before nodding gravely, his eyes reflecting the weight of the knowledge he carried. "The stars and humanity are more connected than ever before," Oren said. "But there is a place on earth that remains forgotten, a place untouched by the wishes of people. This is known as the realm of the forgotten. It is where unfulfilled dreams and deep regrets accumulate, severed entirely from the light of the stars." He paused, his gaze steady and solemn. "If the realm of the forgotten succumbs entirely to darkness, it won't just threaten the stars. It will extinguish the light of all life." Determined, Lila prepared for another journey. She took a fragment of light from the eternal star to guide her path and set out toward the realm of the forgotten. This time, however, she would not go alone. Inspired by her bravery, the celestial villagers sent a few star gatherers to accompany her. Among them were Caris, a young and eager gatherer, and Fëanor, a wise and experienced guide. Together, they embarked on the unknown. Each of them carried their own unanswered fears and unspoken hopes, yet they all shared a common purpose. Lila knew that this journey would not only shape the future of the sky, but also transform the fate of the earth itself. Lila's journey into the Forgotten Realm was unlike anything she had ever experienced. The winds were cold and thick with shadows, and the air felt as if time itself had come to a halt. Everything lay hidden behind a dense, unrelenting mist. She held the light of the eternal star before her, using it as a guide to navigate the darkness. Yet with each step she took, the echoes of forgotten wishes whispered in her mind. If only I could have said goodbye to my loved ones. If only I had found the courage. If only I could right my wrongs. These words settled heavily in her heart, weighing her down. But the presence of Caris and Fëanor by her side gave her the strength to press on. Taking a deep breath, Lila straightened her back and looked ahead. "These wishes are not just shadows," she said softly. "They are proof that people still carry hope within them." As the group ventured deeper, they reached the heart of the Forgotten Realm. There, a massive rift dominated the space, pulsating with an intense, chaotic energy. Within it swirled a vortex of lost wishes, condensed into a churning pool of darkness. From the center of this maelstrom, an ominous figure rose, Vorak. His shadow spread outward, casting an oppressive dread over everything. Vorak's voice boomed, deep and resonant, shaking the very air around them. "You thought you weakened me, Lila," he growled. "You thought saving the stars diminished my power, but every forgotten wish makes me stronger. Now, I will extinguish all light." The weight of his words bore down on Lila and her companions. Fear threatened to creep in, but Lila refused to yield. With unwavering determination, she stepped forward and met Vorak's gaze. "Forgotten wishes are not your darkness," she declared. "They carry hope waiting to be realized. You see only shadows, but I can feel the light within them." Vorak sneered at her defiance and unleashed his darkness, spreading it across the realm. The light of the eternal star faltered against the overwhelming shadow. For a moment, it seemed as if all was lost. But then, an idea sparked in Lila's mind, a way to merge light with the strength of the forgotten wishes. "Caris, Fëanor, help. Me," she called out. "We must gather the echoes of these wishes. They hold the spark of hope." Without hesitation, Caris and Fëanor sprang into action, collecting the whispers of forgotten wishes that surrounded them. Lila channeled the light of the eternal star into the gathered energy, creating a powerful force. As light and wishes intertwined, they erupted in a radiant surge that shook the realm. The shadow that was Vorak trembled and began to unravel. His dark form flickered as the combined light of hope and memory overwhelmed him. "I was only a reflection," Vorak murmured, his voice fading as his form dissolved into nothingness. "But you have shown that forgotten wishes are never truly lost. Light and shadow can exist together." With Vorak's disappearance, the Forgotten Realm transformed. The suffocating darkness gave way to a harmonious blend of light and shadow, balanced and serene. Lila looked around and saw that the forgotten wishes had become tiny sparks of hope, each one reconnecting to the light of the stars above. The realm was no longer isolated, but now part of the celestial harmony. When Lila and her team returned to the celestial village, they were met with joyous celebration. The villagers welcomed them with open arms, their gratitude evident in their bright smiles. Lila was no longer just a guardian of the stars. She had become a protector of hope for both the sky and the earth. Her courage had united the two worlds in a way no one had thought possible. Lila's story became a symbol of the unbreakable bond between the heavens and the earth. People whispered her name as they gazed at the stars, inspired by her bravery and compassion. But deep in her heart, Lila knew her journey was far from over. The stars would always whisper, and there would always be new adventures waiting for her. And so Lila stood ready, her heart open to the infinite possibilities that lay ahead, knowing that her story was only the beginning. One night, the eternal star filled the sky with an extraordinary brilliance. Its light seemed like a personal call meant only for Lila. The star spoke to her in a warm, gentle voice. "Lila, you have restored balance between light and shadow. Yet, to ensure the stars shine forever, a sacrifice must be made. The birth of eternal light can only happen with your guidance." Lila felt the weight of these words, and seeking their true meaning, went straight to the wise Oren. With a somber expression, Oren shared an ancient legend. The legend speaks of a source of light that will never fade, ensuring the stars' eternal glow. But such a source can only be created if a guardian's soul merges with the light. This will bring everlasting peace, yet the guardian will never return. The story gave Lila pause. She stood in silence, her thoughts heavy. She looked into her heart, searching for the courage that had always guided her. Turning to Oren, she spoke with unshakable resolve. "If this will make the stars shine eternally and bring hope to all, I am ready." The eternal star became her guide, leading her toward the circle of eternal light. This was a place hidden in the deepest reaches of the sky, where only the bravest star-gatherers dared to tread. When Lila stepped into the circle's center, familiar faces appeared around her. Karis, Fëanor, and even Oren were there, their eyes glistening with tears. Karis ran to Lila and wrapped her arms tightly around her. "We don't want to lose you, Lila," she said, her voice trembling. Lila gently wiped Karis's tears away, her smile warm and reassuring. "This is part of my journey," she said softly. "You will stay here and continue to protect the stars. My soul will merge with this light and always be with you." As Lila stepped further into the circle, a profound silence fell over everyone. The air was heavy with emotion, not of sorrow, but of awe. The eternal star's light enveloped her, and once more its voice echoed, "Your courage will become an eternal light, carrying hope to the stars and humanity alike. And this light will never fade." For the final time, Lila turned her gaze to the sky and to her friends. There was no sadness in her eyes, only a profound peace. "I will always be here," she said, "in every spark of the stars, in every wish and every whisper." She closed her eyes, and in that moment, Lila became one with the eternal star. The sky was suddenly filled with an unmatched brilliance, a radiance unlike anything anyone had ever seen before. The stars shimmered as if they were singing a song of hope and love to the entire world. People on Earth looked up in awe, their hearts filled with an indescribable sense of peace. Lila's soul had become part of the sky itself, woven into every star, every wish, and every hope. From that day forward, Lila's name was whispered in every story about the stars. She became a symbol of the unbreakable bond between the heavens and the earth. Her courage lived on in every shining light, and the stars' fateful whispers always carried her spirit, reminding everyone that hope and balance could outshine even the darkest shadows. Lila, the guardian of light and shadow, a star who illuminated eternal hope with her courage and love. Lila's ultimate sacrifice transformed the sky into a realm of eternal brilliance. From that day forward, the stars never dimmed. Every night, when people gazed up at the heavens, they felt a whisper of hope brushing against their hearts, as if the stars themselves carried her spirit. Their luminous glow became a constant reminder of Lila's unwavering courage and boundless love. In the celestial village, Lila's memory lived on as an enduring legacy. New star-gatherers were trained, their hearts inspired by the tale of the girl who united light and shadow. Her story became more than a legend. It was woven into the very fabric of the stars, whispered softly across the cosmos. Lila was no longer just a guardian or a star. She had become the essence of the heavens themselves, the infinite expanse of light and shadow that bridged the dreams of earth and sky. And so, the stars continued to shine, forever whispering promises of hope, courage, and peace to anyone who dared to look up and believe. The sky, aglow with Lila's spirit, remained a sanctuary of solace for all, a reminder that even the darkest of shadows could birth the brightest of lights.